Hello, ninth grade students and families. I'm Megan Rosine, and welcome back to our third and final unit of the Bible. It's time to get out your Bibles and be ready to use them to see for yourself how God's Word can come alive in our hearing, understanding, and living. Our first lesson is called Everything Old is New Again. It's said that the Old Testament is the New Testament concealed, and the New Testament is the Old Testament revealed. This sentence can be confusing, just like reading the Bible, but let's look at a few examples that might help us understand it in a new and interesting way. First of all, you've likely heard the word prophet. A prophet is a person God chooses to announce his message. In the Old Testament, there are many prophets who foretold Jesus is coming, and one of the most famous is Isaiah. Isaiah appears in the first book of the prophets in the Old Testament. The Israelites were not believing in the one true God. They were worshiping false gods like statues and idols. So Isaiah was writing to warn them of their ways and also to talk about God's great love for humankind. Isaiah 43 says, "Do not be afraid," and this particular sentence appears in the Bible 365 times. "I will save you. I have called you by name. You are mine." In Isaiah chapter 53, we hear the prophet announce Jesus. In fact, if you've ever gone to the Stations of the Cross during Lent, this chapter is read during it. Pause the video now and read Isaiah chapter 53. See if you recognize it, and if not, can you at least understand that this prophet is announcing Jesus, who is to come and suffer to bring God's people to himself? The Old Testament, here in Isaiah, is the New Testament concealed. The very last part of the Old Testament is the prophets, beginning with Isaiah and ending with Malachi. Then comes the New Testament Gospels, beginning with Matthew. Another way to recognize the Old Testament being concealed in the New and the New Testament being revealed in the Old is to hear parallel stories. In your bag, you have some silly putty. I'd like you to pick it up and study it for a moment. Are there any characteristics of the silly putty that you can think of that are similar to the conceal-reveal relationship between the Old and New Testaments? I think of the way that silly putty can be stretched and conceal what's underneath it, but it's also being molded by what's underneath. So when you manipulate it a little bit and think about it, the impression or the meaning is revealed, just like this. Numbers are also significant in the Bible, and the number 3 is one such number. When you see the number 3 in the Bible, it is signifying divine transformation and great change. Do you remember the story of Jonah from our first unit? When God had a job for Jonah and Jonah did not want to do it, he ran away and got on a boat. When the great storm hit, the men yelled, "Why is this happening? What is causing the storm?" Deciding Jonah was to blame, they threw him overboard, right into the belly of a whale. You might think that being swallowed by the whale was punishment, but actually, it was more like a holding tank. The 3 days Jonah spent there gave him time to reassess and pray. After those 3 days of darkness, Jonah's heart was transformed. He was spewed out of the whale's mouth a changed man and ready to do the work God had asked him. In the New Testament, we see Jesus being carried to a borrowed tomb where he lay for 3 days. In Christianity, we call those days the Triduum. Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and finally Easter Sunday as the day he comes out of the tomb. We don't hear about Jesus during those 3 days of darkness, but we know that the tomb was empty. Jesus did what no other had done. He resurrected. The quintessential divine transformation. While Jonah's heart was changed, Jesus' form was changed. In Jonah, the New Testament is concealed. In Jesus' resurrection story, the Old Testament is revealed. 40 is another number often read in the Bible. The number 40 suggests a type of trial, repentance, preparation for important work or an important task, self-examination, escape from bondage or slavery, nourishment or growth. The Israelites wandered for 40 days in the desert, while Jesus spent 40 days in the desert being tempted before he began his ministry. We are currently in the season of Lent, which lasts for 40 days. During these 40 days, we are asked to fast from things that separate us from God and return to the best version of ourselves. This can sometimes feel like a trial, but it's meant to prepare us for the important work of living our best life. In the Old Testament, the book of Genesis, we have the well-known story of Noah and the flood. God is said to be discouraged with the human race and warns of a flood. Noah and his family appear to be of good character and are told to build an ark and put 2 of each animal on it. In this case, the water will flood the earth and wash it clean. Noah and his family, along with all species of animals, are given a second chance. Water, in this case, and in fact everywhere in the Bible, represents God's grace of love and forgiveness. When the storm is over, a dove brings an olive branch that signifies that the water has receded and land has reappeared. So rather than a story of destroying, it's a story of washing clean and starting over, a baptism of sorts. In the New Testament, we meet John the Baptist. He's baptizing people with water. The water here is also of washing clean. Then Jesus arrives on the scene, and instead of baptizing John, he asks John to baptize him. When Jesus comes out of the water, a dove appears overhead, and God's voice is heard saying, "You are my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." This marks the first time baptism washes us with the Spirit. Just as God made a covenant with Noah and all creatures after the flood, here God says to Jesus, but also to us, "You are my beloved, with whom I am well pleased." Noah, who was completely clean, began humanity anew. Jesus, who is completely clean, begins his ministry for humanity. In our own baptism, God's word in the Old and New Testament takes a life in us. You're going to hear more stories based in the New Testament in the videos that follow. As you listen, remember that people in Jesus' time knew the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Bible. Many knew it by heart, but all knew it in some form. So when people, especially Jesus, spoke in the New Testament, they often quoted or referred back to the Old Testament so the people would make a connection. And remember, there's so much going on. Try not to focus too much on each word, but rather on the spiritual teaching the story has for you and for all of us.